Hello, and welcome to the wonderful world of Sandwich Sudoku. This is a variant of Sudoku that uses all the rules of the normal game, but adds an extra element that I really enjoy. You still have the aspects of normal Sudoku, which is already good, but you also get additional clues which make a more interesting puzzle. So here we have an example from a popular UK newspaper, and it has a little description of the rules. Place the digits from 1 to 9 in each row, column and a 3x3 block. So this is the normal Sudoku rules, and now this is the Sandwich Sudoku stuff. The clues outside the grid, blah, 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 these and these, show the sum of the numbers placed between the 1 and 9 in that row or column. So what does that mean? Let's take a look at a few examples. So we've got this one here, and we have the 9 and the 1, and in between we have the 3 and the 8. So the Sandwich Sudoku rules say that the sum of the numbers between the 1 and 9 is the clue that you get. So the clue in this example would be 11. And here's another one. We have the 1 and the 9 already there, and the clue for this one will be 6 and 4 and 2, which is 12. So I've done it the wrong way round. We kind of already see it filled in, and then we figure out what the thing is. We get all the numbers like you see here. But these, we don't know where the 1s and 9s are, but at least it gives us the clue. So when we do have the 1 and the 9, then we have this clue to know what the numbers might be inside. So this gives us an extra way to solve the Sudoku, and sometimes it's something that can help us straight away, but most times it's a bit more difficult. So the easiest sum would be 0, which we have one here, and 0 means there can't be anything between the 1 and the 9. And this is great because the 9 is at the edge here, so the 1 can't be there. So that automatically tells me the 1 is here. And I've already filled in a space in my Sudoku. So because I've filled in that space, I'm going to cross that out because that's no longer useful for me. So the next one would be 2s. So 2 means, the interesting thing about 2 is could be no other combination. It just has to be the number 2 between the 1 and the 9. And we actually have a 2 here. And so the 1 could be either there with the 2 there, or the 1 could be there with the 2 there. But I can already see that there's already a 2 in this segment, so that can't be a 2. So actually, again, my Sandwich Sudoku has told me that has to be a 2 and that has to be a 1. So there is my 2 inside the 1 and the 9. So I can cross that one out. So likewise, this would be the same case for 3, but we don't have any 3s. But we do have a 4, so let's have a look at this. So this I'm not so lucky, I don't think, because... Oh, actually I am lucky. So we know that the 4 is in between the 1 and the 9, so that has to be a 1 and or a 9, and that has to be a 1 or a 9. And we already can see that there is a 1 along here, so this can't be another 1. So this has to be a 9, and that has to be a 1. So I've kind of used 1, 2, 3 of my Sandwich Sudoku clues, and I filled in, I'm making a bit of progress before I've actually used any of my normal Sudoku kind of strategies. So this is good. We can just carry on like this. But when we get to kind of higher numbers, I've done 0, 2, 3, and 4. Once you get to the higher numbers, it gets a bit more complicated, because obviously there can be kind of multiple combinations. There can be different ways to get these. So it gets more tricky. And that's where the app comes in. So what is this app, I hear you say? So let's bring in the app. So the app is available for Mac, iPad, and iPhone. They all look exactly the same, but I'm just demonstrating on the iPad because I'm using my phone to record this. So what can we do? So we can go split view, and I'm just going to move, I'm just going to move this over here. So the app opens up with allowing you to select between two different types of grid. The 6x6, I've not actually seen one, but I've heard it's possible, so we can select those. But this one we're looking at is the normal 9x9. And we can open this here. So the first thing it asks us to do is kind of add a new target. So here we can kind of select the different sums, or the kind of the clues that we've been given, and it will then tell us all the possible combinations that can be in between that 1 and 9. So for example, 20 is pretty complicated. We could figure this out doing this by hand, I guess, but I don't find that fun. I'd rather have this kind of figure it out for me and just tell us this is, because it doesn't actually solve the puzzle. It's not really taking away, it's not cheating, I don't think. It's kind of not taking the kind of the fun of actually kind of solving the puzzle. It's just kind of providing you with stuff that you would have just taken you longer to figure out. And even worse, you could have just kind of figured it out wrong, made a slight mistake, and then that could have just kind of ruined the whole puzzle for you, because you might not realise until half an hour later, and then you've already kind of filled in most of the squares and can't find it. It's all gone horribly wrong. So in this one, we can see that there's kind of different lengths of solutions and different versions. So it could either be 3 in between, 4 in between, or 5 digits in between. So this wouldn't help us at the beginning of the game. So if we know that there's a 20, it doesn't really help us. But as we kind of progress, we might fill in more stuff in between, and it can kind of narrow it down. So we'll show you more of that as we go. So I think what we might need to do now is just move this over a little bit so we can actually see where we were at the beginning. I don't know if you can see all of that. We can have all of that on screen at the same time. Maybe we can. So now what I'm going to try and do is just going to try and just walk through this particular Sandwich Sudoku and just try and solve it. So we might have lots of pauses, we might have breaks. The pages might kind of move because I might record this over several days. So just bear with it, but let's see how it comes out. So now I'm just going to have a look again, and I think what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and solve the 1s and 9s. I can see that I've done that. I can see here we've got a 1 and we've got the clue of 2. So again, we know that 2 has to be between the 1 and the 9. So there's nowhere else because it's on the edge. It only has to go this way. So this has to be a 2 and this has to be a 9. So we're done with that. Thank you very much. And now what do we have? So we have a 9 there, 9 there. What else have we got? Anything else that's going to help us? So what we can do now is we can start to use the app to kind of help us maybe it's going to give us some more information here, because I've got this 9 here and it says the target is 12, so I'm going to select 12. And this is telling me there's lots of different options, but I can tell that I can only squeeze, if I'm going in this direction, the 1 can't be there because there's a 1 there already. But even if it was possible to put the 1 there, we can't put 12 inside there. So we have to be going in this direction. So the number 1 has to be here. So what this means is the sum has to include number 4. So we've got this bit here that says must include. So we can say must include 4. And this kind of narrows down the amount of answers it can be. It's still not helpful enough, because I'd like to know exactly how many digits, and it can either be 2 or 3. So that doesn't help. But I also know the answer can't include the number 2 because the number 2 is already there. So I can say must not include 2. And this narrows it down a bit more, but still not enough for my liking, because it can either be, the 1 can either be there or there. So far, that's not enough help, but I'm just going to kind of pencil that in. And what we can do is we can just save that and just kind of leave that there and just come back to it. So now we can just carry on and just see if the Sandwich Sudoku clues can just give us any more information or give us any more hints. So we've got one here, we've got the 13. So we can put that in, the 13. And again, it's either a 2-digit or a 3-digit. So that means there would be a 9 either here or here. And I don't see anything here to say that it can't be one or the other. So again, I'm just going to pencil that in lightly and save that one. Come back to it. So what else have we got? Here's an interesting one. So this is a big number. Let's come up with this big one. So 28. And again, it's either it's a 5 or a 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the 1 is either there or there. So already know that it can't be there. So the 1 has to be there. Thank you very much. And we also know that it has to include an 8. So it must include 8. Okay, that didn't help. Because all of these answers had an 8 in anyway, but it doesn't hurt. But we've got the 1 and the 9 at least, so we've got a bit closer to getting at least the 1s and the 9s, which are usually the ones I go for at first. So I'm looking here, I've got a 1 in this segment, a 1 in this segment, so now I need a 1 here, and it can't be there, so that 1 has to be there. So I have all of the 1s going across there, and I've got 25 here, so I can kind of save that one, create a new one, 25. So the 25s is either 4 digits, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the 9 would be there or there. And those both include the 2 and the 7. So I can say must include 2 and 7. And fantastic. So I know the exact combination of digits that are going to go inside that because this is the only combination that adds up to 25, including a 2 and a 7. So again, that would have taken a while to figure out, but I've just got there a bit quicker. So I know that this is a 5-digit one, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I know my 9 is here. So I've got the 1 and the 9 here. So now I'll still save that because we don't know. Well, do we know? We've got the 2. The 3 could be anywhere. The 5 could be anywhere. And the 8 could be anywhere. So I don't know the rest of that stuff, so I'm just going to save it. So we've got this 9 now appeared, and we have a 0 there. So we already said the zeros, the 1 and the 9 have to be next to each other. I can't put the 1 there because we've got a 1 already there. So this must be the 1. Thank you very much. Done with that. So now our 12, we know it's a 2-digit, so it's 4 and 8. And we're done with that one. So you can see you can start to kind of rapidly fill it in. We're probably going to get stuck in a bit where we need a thinking montage, but that's pretty good so far. So I'm done with that 12, so I'm just going to swipe and delete that one because we don't need it anymore. We're done. So what else have we got? So we've got the 1, 1 and 1 there. We've got 9s there. What else might help us? We've got another 0 and a 1 here. So the 9 has to be next to this 1. So the 9 can't be there. There's the 9 already there. So the 9 has to be there. So that's another nice clue. This one here, may as well just go back to the app, but I don't think this, well, I don't think we're ready yet, actually. There's no point in entering it. We could enter a number 22 and see what numbers might fit in between that are 4 digits, but even if we knew, we wouldn't know which digit goes where. So we can do that later. But this 13 might be interesting. See, we have a 13 already here, but let's just edit this because we've got a 13 that must include 2. So if we do this, must include 2. Right, again. So there's too many different combinations. I don't think that's helped us. So it could be 238, 247, 256. So that's pretty much anything. So we'll come back to that later on in the game. Should be once we have some more clues, either something here, obviously that will answer it straight away, or if we get some here or there, we'll know that they must not include and it might narrow it down. So what else can we do? We have a 22, maybe we can do a 22 going across here. So this is a 22, again it's a 4-digit or a 5-digit, so it can't go this way, there's only 2 digits there, so it has to go this way, so it will have to include the 5, so we can say it must include 5. So it'll either be 4 or 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, so it'll be a 1 there or a 1 there. But we know the 1 can't be there because there's a 1 there, so it has to be there. By the way, I put an underline here when I've got the 1 and the 9 just to say that we've solved a bit of it, but we haven't finished because we don't know the digits in between. So when we know the digits in between, I cross it out, but it's still of interest. So what else can we do? So we've got the 9, the 9. So here the 9, the only place the 9s could be is there or there. That doesn't help. Same for the 1 and the 1. No, nothing quite helping yet. We can try this 21. And that doesn't help. So unfortunately it could be a 3, a 4 or a 5. So 1, 2, 3. So the 9 could be there. Actually it does help us. So it says it could be a 3, 1, 2, 3. So the 9 would be there. Or a 4, 9 would be there. Or a 5, 9 would be there. But the 9's already there, so it can't be there or there. So that 9 has to be there. So we've got all the 9s there, all the 9s there. We have those 9, well, we have those maybe 9s from that 13, we still don't know. And from here, this is I don't know as well. So still got a bit more work to do. Well, while we're on 13, no, we're not on 13, we're on 21. There's 2 13s here. Let's try another 13. So we've got a 13 here that can't include a 3, must not include 3. So that means it's either a 2-digit or 3-digit. So 1, 2, the 1 would be there, or the 1 would be there. And yeah, again, so this has helped us. So it can't be a 1, 2, 3 with a 1 there because we've already got the 1 there, so it must be there. So this is the 13, that one. We don't know the numbers inside. Well, it could be 5 or 8 or 6, 7. Sometimes it's not possible from stuff already there, but I don't think so at the moment. So we'll leave that and save it. But it helps us with this one going across for the 9s because we know that this 9 can't be there because the sum is 18 in between there. So there's got to be a fair amount of gap. So that 9 has to be here. So now we can probably just start to use old Sudoku rules and just say, where's the 9 in here? It can't be here because there's a 9 there. It can't be there. So the other 9 has to be here. And then we know that there's an 18 that includes a 5 and an 8. But again, if we have some digits here, we won't know. Well, let's try it. 18. And it's an 8 and a 5. It must include an 8 and a 5. Oh, okay. So it's, oh, it does tell us. Right, excellent. So we've got the 8 and the 5. That leaves 2 and 3. So these have got to be 2 and 3, but we have a 2 here. So this has to be 2, and this has to be 3. And we're actually completely done with our 18. In fact, we can do this full column because we've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but we don't have the 6 along here, so the 6 must be here. Awesome. And again, looking on this 9 that's appeared here, it's a 0, so the 1 must be either here or here. It can't be there because that's got the 1, so this has to be the 1. And that's done with. And that also gives us the 13 for this 1 to 9. I'm not going to put that in because I don't think, well, don't know. Maybe we'll come back to that one later. But I think what we have now is 1 and 9, 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 1 and 9. We have all the 1s and 9s. So we'll put there in the trophy section up here. We've got all the 1s and 9s. And I think that means it's time for a break. So we'll have a little break, come back and see if we can fill in more gaps. Hello, welcome to part 2. So I've had a little think, and the great thing about the Sandwich Sudoku is you can switch from before we were doing all of the kind of the sandwich bits and trying to find the 1s and the 9s, which we did. But the normal Sudoku rules still apply, so we can switch back to kind of solving it that way and ignoring these numbers and just seeing if we can solve anything that way. So I've been having a think, and I've been looking at the number 2s. So we've got the 2 here, and we've got the 2 and the 2 here. So that means we have to have a 2 there. So just filling in a tiny bit more. And now I've been having a think, and I've been looking at another thing, and I'm going to switch back to the Sandwich Sudoku one. So in particular this 13 here. So I'm going to use the app again, and I'm going to create a new 13 because I know we've got lots of 13s. I think we put the values in for these two before, or maybe it was this one, but I don't think we did this one. So I'm going to do this one because we know we can't put an 8 in there, so we can do must not include 8, which narrows it down a bit. But we also, because we filled in most of these, we know that there must be, these two are 3s and 5. This is a 3 and a 5. We don't know which one's the 3 and which one's the 5, but those two are there, so we know that our 13 cannot include a 3 or a 5. So we can do must not include a 3, must not include a 5, and that means that it has to be 2, 4, or 7. So unfortunately, I don't think we know where the 2 or the 4 or the 7 goes. We know the 2 must be here, but we don't know which position. The 4 could be anywhere, and the 7 could be anywhere. So that doesn't immediately help us, but it will help us later. But we can actually figure out what this one is here, because we know these are a 3 and a 5, and this is a 2, 4, 7. So that means that this will have to be, the only number left is going to be the 6. So this is going to be a 6. And I'm going to save that because we'll come back to that 2, 4, 7 later in the game, I'm sure. And now we can kind of come back to this area here because we've got a 13 here, and we know that this between, we've got the 1 and the 9, and it must add up to 13, and maybe we've got the actual one here. Yeah, the filter 3 here. So this is the one that we had because we said filter 3. But now, I mean, it's easy, but may as well just let the app do it for us. We can say it must include 6. And of course, it's going to be 6 and 7. 6 and 7 makes 13. So we have another one. Thank you very much. So we have a bit more solved. And now we can check again using the kind of normal Sudoku rules to see if that helps us. We've got 2 7s, but we're not sure where the other 7 is there. Same for here. That doesn't actually help us. We've added a 6, so that unfortunately doesn't help us. So I think we're just going to have another think now, and maybe I'll come back in a bit with some more progress. Okay, after another thinking break, again, going to look at the number 2s. We've got something happening with the 2s again. So what's happening here? So looking at this bit here, we've got a 2 going across here, so the 2s have to be somewhere in there, and we've got a 2 going down there, so there must be a 2 in either of these squares. And we also have a 2 here, so that means this row here, sorry, this column, the 2 for this segment has to be here. But we have a 2 and a 2 there, so it actually has to be here. So we're making progress on these. I don't think we can complete it yet because we don't know which one that can be, and we don't know which one this can be here. So still got more work to do, but it narrows it down a tiny bit again. So what I also forgot to do was we had this, we had our 13 and we solved this one with a 6 and 7, so we can actually get rid of that one there. But I wanted to look at this one because maybe we can make some progress on this other 13. And this is the 13 where we excluded the 2, which is the first one. So let's go and edit this one. Because we can exclude some more things here, because we can also say it can't be a 7 or a 3 in here, because the 7 and the 3 are there. So that leaves a 5 and an 8 here. And again, that doesn't immediately help us because we don't know which one's which. But I'm just going to pencil it in and just say it's a 5 and an 8. Because that will at least help us figure out, yeah, so we should be able to know what's here. So what's here is going to be 1, 2, 3. It's going to be a 4 or a 6. Those are the only ones left. So that's going to be a 4 and a 6, 4 and a 6. And now we can again see the Sandwich Sudoku clues, see if they can help us. So we've got this 21 here. And again, I can actually get rid of this one now, this 13 that I've done, because it's already been penciled in. So actually I'm going to cross out that because we can't use the sandwich rules are done with for this one. But on this 21, what did we have? So we had lots of options here. We had lots of options for this 21, but we know it's 3 digits, and there's luckily only 3 digits here. So this is a 5 or an 8, so there's no 5s here, there's only an 8, so this has to be an 8. So this will have to be 5, so this is 58 here. And now we carry on. So this is a 4 or a 6, and again, there's no 4s, so it has to be a 6. So this will be 46. And we've already solved our first segment. Fantastic. So what's missing? So 6, 7 and 8. So this will be a 7. And that is our 21. Done. So the 21, we can happily remove that because that's done. So now we can see if we can use this to use the old kind of Sudoku rules to see if it's kind of helped us. So we've got the 6 and the 6 here. Still nothing. 6. 6 there. Yeah, still nothing on there. On the 7. Fortunately, doesn't help us solve anything else. But it's worth checking. Oh, we got 7 going up here, but the 7s could still be there. So, okay. So we can just have to carry on looking. So maybe we can start with this 28 because we've got an extra one there, which we didn't have before. So let's go to this one. And now we can say, let me get this the right way around first. So this is 28, and it must include the 7 and 8. So it must include 7 and 8. Right, unfortunately there's still 2 possibilities, so we'll have to come back to that one. So what else do we have? Same for this 25, I'm not sure. No. Okay. So in the 25, which requires the 2 and the 7, the 2 and the 7, what else do we know? So the 25, it at least tells us what these 2 are, so we might as well just put these 2 in, just penciled in, see if it helps. So it's going to be a 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be a 4 and a 6 here. And that does help us. So the 6 is here. So that means the 4 has to be there and the 6 there. And actually, I suppose I can... This is already solved now. So I can kind of get rid of this 25. Because I know, we already know the 1 and the 9s. The numbers just using the normal Sudoku rules will fall into place there because we put the 4 and the 6 here. So let's get rid of this 25. And again, see if that helps us. So we've got a 6 and a 6. No, we don't know where the 6 is there. 6, 6, we don't know where the 6 is there. Does the 4 help us? 4 and a 4. No, we just know that the 4's there, but don't know which one. Okay. So on this column again, old Sudoku rules. Let's see if anything crops up there. So what can this one be? This will have to be a 1, 2. That'll have to be a 3. 3 there because we haven't got 3 in this column. What else haven't we got? We haven't got the 3, 4, and we haven't got the 5. So this is 3 or 5 in this column. And unfortunately, we don't know which one's which. So fair enough. I have to keep looking. So that's a 3 or a 5, that's a 3 or a 5. Let's see what else we can do. So it's this 13 again here. Just want to take another look at it. So we have a 13 here. And we said it can't be, these are the 3 and 5 there. So it must not include the 3 or the 5, and it can't be a 6, and it can't be an 8. And again, I've done the wrong ones. 3, 5, 6, and 8. So it has to be 2, 4, 7 here. So I looked at where the 2 could be, so the 2 can't be here, it's there or there. Looked at the 4 can't be there, so the 4 must be there or there. So but it's this square here, it can't be a 2 or a 4. So if it can't be a 2 or 4, it has to be the 7. So that's another piece of the puzzle done. So I'll save that just to remind me to come back to that one. And I just wanted to look at this 28 as well. Take another look at this 28, because there is some sneaky things we can do. We said it must include the 7 and the 8, but there's some things it can't include, because we have the 5 here, so there can't be a 5 there or there, and there also can't be a 5 there, so we can say must not include a 5, and that gives us the final combination, which it must be. So again, does that help us? Unfortunately not, I don't think. Oh, actually, yes, it does. So we know the solution must include a 4. And the 4 can't be here, so the 4 must be there or there. We also know this segment hasn't got a 4, so the 4 must be there. So that would say there's a 4 there, so the 4 can't be there, so the 4 has to be here. And then when it comes to the 6, the 6 could be here, and I think the 6 could be here. The 7's already taken and the 8's already taken. And let's just check the 3 again. So the 3 could be there or there, so not quite there. And again, well, we could put what could go here, but I don't think this helps us. So this is going to be a 2. Oh no, it does. So yeah, there's not a 2 in this solution, so the 2 must be there or there, and we have that 2 there, so this must be a 2. And maybe this is all the 2's done now. So we've got 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. So the last remaining 2 must be here. Awesome, put this in the trophy cabinet. So 2's are done now. So if the 2 is there, we must know what the other one on the outside is. So it's 2, 3, 4, 5 is the other one. So we can put this as a 5. And now this 28, even though we're missing these 2, it's with the normal Sudoku rules, the sandwich stuff doesn't help us anymore, because we just know that that's going to be a 3 and a 6. 3 or 6 there, 3 or 6 there. So what else? Cross that one out because that's solved. We've got a 5 here. Does this narrow it down for this 13? Said we get rid of the 28, so let's get rid of that one. And the 13, I think I've mixed my 13s up. So I've got a 13 that requires a 2 here. So let's start again on that one. So it needs to have a 2, must include a 2, must not include a 5. Still no good. Unless there's anything common here going across. But there isn't. So come back to that one. And I don't know why we've got this one here, because this one is completely solved, so we can get rid of that. So next I'm going to look at the 22, because we have some extra stuff to add. We already had the must include 5. We also must include 2. And lucky us, that means we have the answer. So it's 2, 5 and the 7. So we'll see where the 7 can go. The 7 can't go in this one because we've got 7 there and a 7 there, so the 7 must be here. And that means that must be 8. So again, we've kind of solved that one, and we can get rid of this 22. No longer need it. And now we can see, again using old Sudoku patterns to see if that helps us. We've got an 8 and 8, so 8 must be there or there, and the 8 can't be there, so we have an 8 here. And we have an 8 and 8, but the 8's going to be there or there, so that doesn't help us. And what else did we get new? The 7. So we've got 7, 7, so we know 7s are in this row here, but we have no 7s here to help us. So we're a bit closer, but still got to keep on puzzling. Right, a change of scenery and a bit of a stare at it, and we're going to chase some 7s now. So we, again, old Sudoku rules, not the Sandwich Sudoku rules. We can just look at the 7s on this side. We've got a 7. We're looking for the 7 in here. We've got a 7 in this. So the 7 can't be there. And we've got a 7 there, so the 7 can't be there. So this 7 has to be here. So we're winning on that 7. And then going across, we have a 7 and a 7. So there must be a 7 here. So it must be there. And now staying on the 7s, going back to the Sandwich Sudoku rules, we can look at this 13 here, which I think we have here. So we said must include 2, must not include 5, but we also must not include 7. So we can't include 7, must include 2, must not include 5. So we have 2, 3 and 8. So we have the 2, so we need to see where the 3 goes. 3 can't go here, so the 3 must go here. And the 8 must of course go here. So that is that 13 done. So we can get rid of this one. And we're back to nothing on that at the moment. We only have the 22 on the Sandwich Sudoku rules. Maybe we could start to have a look at that in a bit. But I want to see if this 8 has helped us in any way. So yes, it has. So we've got an 8 going across there, an 8 going across there, so the 8 in this bit must be here. And we have 8, 8 and 8, 8, 8, 8. What about over here? Okay, so I don't think we can do the 8s. We're still a bit short. So what else can we go for? Next we're going to go after a 5, I think. So in here we have 2 to go. This we said already, this can be a 3 or a 5, and this can be a 3 or 5. But if we look down here, we already have a 5 here. So this would have to be the 3. And this has to be the 5. And then we can see if that kind of helps us with normal Sudoku rules. So we've got a 5 there, 5 there. So there must be a 5 down here, but there's a 5 there. So the 5 has to be here. There we go, 5, 5, 5. And then going across here, we've got this middle one is missing a 5, and it can't be there because there's a 5 there, so that has to be a 5. And then going across, looking on this one for the 5s, we've got a 5 there, so the 5 has to be there. And what else have we got? We've got going up here, we've got a 5 there and a 5 there, so there must be a 5 in this column, but there's a 5 there, so the 5 has to be here. And then there has to be a 5 in here, so that can't be a 5, so that has to be a 5. And I think that is all our 5s. So put that in the trophy cabinet. 5 is done. So what else have we got? Well, we got this one. We can figure out this one. I think this is a 3, right? Yeah, there's no 3 there, so that's got to be a 3. And same here, we've got one that we can figure out here. So we've got 1, 2, 3. This has to be a 4, I think, yes. So this has to be a 4. And I can see I've got a 4 there, a 4 there. And this needs a 4, so that must be a 4 there. And can we do anything else with 4s while we're looking at 4s? 4 going there, 4 there. So there must be a 4 in this segment here. So that can only be there. And now going across this way, we've got a 4 and a 4. So the 4 has to be here. And there's a 4 there. So the 4 must be here. So I think this is, we've done the 4s as well. Yeah, flying now. So what else can we look at? Maybe the 6s, because we're just going up. We did the 5 and the 4, right? I think I looked at the 3 earlier, so let's look at the 6. So we've got 6, 6. No, not sure which one it is there. 6 and the 6 again. Okay. So I have the feeling that this 22 is going to be very important for us to be able to complete this. But I just want to check, just using normal Sudoku rules, if there's nothing else we can fill in. So we've got 7, 7 going across there. That has to be a 7, but we don't know. 7, 7. One of those is a 7. We don't know. The 8. We've got the 8, 8, 8. 8, 8, 8 there. 8, 8. Okay, good. So this, we've got 8 going across, 8 going across. So that has to be the 8 for that one. And we have an 8 there, an 8 there. So there's an 8 in one of these. But there's an 8 going across there, so the 8 has to be here. So again, I think we've got the 8s finished as well. Yes. So that's that done. And that's just in the way, so cross that out. So, what else? We should be able to do this because there's only 1 left, and the same for this one. So what's this one? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is there a 6 here? 6, 6. No. So that must be 6. And we've just got 1 left on this one. So 1, 2. I think it's missing a 3. 3, 3. Yep. So that needs a 3. And let's see if that helps us going across this way. Oh, actually, I can fill this one in because again, there's nothing. There's only 1 missing in this row. So it's 1, 2. Again, we're missing a 3, so that has to be a 3. That completes that one. And now we can figure out what this one is because we've only got 1 left. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Has to be 6. And 7, 8. So let's see. What else can we do here? We've got this one here as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Has to be 7. And going down here, we've only got 1 left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is it 6? So there's no 6s here, so this has to be a 6. And yeah, this is a good streak. This is it's nice when it falls to play into place like this. This has to be a 3. So there's 3 there, 3 there. There's no 3s in this one yet, so that's a 3. And now this is the end game. So I imagine this is not gonna. We're not gonna know which ones these can be. So it's time for us to kind of use this 22. And my iPad has fallen asleep because we've not used it. So let's fire it up and ask for a 22. And between the 1 and 9 so far, we have a 4 and a 5. So I must include 4 and a 5. And it's telling us the only solution for this has to be 4, 5, 6, 7. So it'd be 4, 5. So this is a 6 or a 7. There's a 7 already there, so that has to be a 6. And that has to be a 7. And so, excuse me being slow on this, but 1, 2, that has to be a 3. And that has to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That has to be a 6. So we're done. So we've solved it. So that's kind of flipping between the Sandwich Sudoku rules and the normal Sudoku rules. And like I said, I think it makes it more interesting. And yeah, glad I was able to solve this. So there you go. This is the app. Like I say, the app doesn't, I don't think it's a cheat. It just kind of, it just helps the game. It just makes the boring stuff, like kind of figuring out these kind of sums. It kind of takes that pain away, just so you can concentrate on figuring out your strategies and stuff like that. So thanks for watching. Cheers.